You're not going to believe how easy these projects were to make today. Stay with me to find out. So for today's projects, I'm going to start out making a wreath holder. So I'm going to be using these wooden stakes from Home Depot, and I'm going to glue them together using my wood glue. I just go ahead and glue them together, and then I secure them and I wait overnight, and then this is what it ends up looking like. I did use a gold spray paint on top of this just to give it the final look of shimmer. So then I'm going to use the wreath form that I'm going to be using for the rest of the projects today, and I just kind of measure where I want it to hang on the wood posts. Then I screw in my hook, and then this is complete. You can hang whatever you want on this piece. It doesn't have to be just the wreaths, but I think it turns out so cute, and you can use it all year for any kind of decor. So to start with the pieces that we're going to hang on this, I got these wreath forms from Hobby Lobby. They were $3.99, and I also picked up a package of these wood rounds. I believe the wood rounds were like $4.49. So all I'm doing is kind of going around the wreath before gluing so that I can make sure that I like the placement of them, and then I'll go back and glue them down. Then I'm using some Dollar Tree ribbon, and I'm sorry today I didn't actually measure out how much ribbon I used. I'm doing this kind of fold over bow, and I make this bow all the time. Normally though, I glue them, especially if they're smaller bows, but I've been lately really enjoying using some twine to tie them off in the middle. So I just kind of fold it over, make sure I like the amount of ribbon I have, and then I go ahead and make the bow. So I crisscross it, I fold it down, and then I'm going to do like an accordion here, and I'm going to hold it with my thumb and forefinger. Then I'm going to take some twine, and this is just regular twine from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to wrap it around the middle where my finger is holding the bow together. I wrap it about 3 or 4 times, and then I turn it over and I hold it super tight when I let my hand go, and then I'm just going to tie a knot here. So as I am tying it, when I go to cinch the first one, I tie as tight as I possibly can. Then I tie the second part of the knot, and I tie again as tight as I can, and then I go ahead and cut off the excess. I love the way these bows look. They're super easy to make. You can put things in the middle of the bow if you want, or you don't have to. I do 3 different kinds of looks with it today for each project. For this one, I'm just going to leave it as is with the twine in the middle. I'm going to dovetail the ends, and then I'm going to glue it to the wreath. So there are so many things that you can do with this one bow. I just think it's really versatile. It's super easy, and if you're not good at bow making, this is definitely a bow that you can start out with. So I just kind of off center my bow on the wood rounds. This is super simple and rustic, and then this project is complete.
Whatever comes next.
So I'm using another one of those wreath forms from Hobby Lobby, and then I found this package of pine cones. They were super cute. They were just these little tiny pine cones, but what really caught my eye was the copper ones that they had in there. They must have used some spray paint or something. They are really beautiful, so that's really why I ended up buying them. But all I'm going to do is hot glue the pine cones to the outer circle of this wreath, and then I go back in and I hot glue another layer of pine cones to the inner circle of the wreath, just so you won't see any of the cardboard wreath form. Once I do that, I'm ready to do the bow. So I'm going to take 2 ribbons this time, and I'm going to measure. I just went ahead and cut the length of the patterned ribbon to where I wanted it to be, and then I measured the plain ribbon and I just cut it the exact same size. So I'm doing the same fold over bow, and this way I wanted to show you guys what it looks like when you use 2 ribbons. So I did the same thing, crisscrossed it, and then I'm doing the accordion, and I'm going to take my twine and I'm going to wrap it here in the middle. I do wrap it 3 or 4 times, and I make sure that it's really secure before I ever take my hand off of there. That way the bow doesn't just totally fall apart and have to start over. And once I get that, I'm going to cinch it for the first time super tight. And then I go ahead and tie the knot part, and then I cinch that part super tight. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut off any excess twine that I have there on the bow. Like I said, this bow is like one of my very favorites. It's super easy to make, and there's a lot of things that you could do with it. So like I said, I added 2 ribbons here. If you wanted to add 3 or 4 ribbons, this bow would still be able to do what you needed it to do. You could make them smaller, larger loops. It's totally up to you, and then you could fluff them out. So all I'm doing is kind of fluffing out the bow part. I try it a couple different ways. I pull it out like towards the top with the plain ribbon. I don't really like that, so I end up pulling it down towards the bottom before I put it on the wreath. But I just fluff a little bit, and that's the one thing about ribbon. You just have to keep fluffing until you like the way that it looks. I go ahead and dovetail the ends because that is one simple thing that you can do to make your projects look more high-end or more of a boutique finish. So if you're selling them, or even if you're just giving them away, that gives you kind of the wow factor when you give it to somebody. So I decided that I wanted to have something in the middle of this one, so I'm just using a scrap piece of ribbon, and this just came off of the dovetailing area. It was a tiny bit too short, so I had to really pull it, but that's okay because the tighter the middle of a bow is, the more of the bow shape you get. So I'm just using hot glue here. I'm going to attach it there. Then I decide the placement of this bow should be in the middle, and then this project is complete.
Do it all with you by my side. If you're in, meet me here tonight. Be brave and come along. I'll be your ride. Promise we don't need no brake lights. We can travel the world, so just say yes.
Using the same wreath form here, and I got these wood pieces at Hobby Lobby in the Christmas section last year on clearance, but I did see them again this year if you're wanting to recreate this. So they're just the birch wood, and I just cut them apart. They come in like a long strip, and all I'm doing is hot gluing them onto the wreath form. I go around with one layer, and then I go back over them with another layer just to kind of cover up one of the area that had a like space. That's all. Then I'm going to just make that same bow, and I'm going to glue it here, and then I take one of my solo wood flowers and glue that to the middle, and then this project is complete.
Whatever comes next. This or that. Getting drunk on whiskey on a Tuesday night. Drinking where I'm by an open fire. Make love or fight. This or that.
I hope you enjoyed today's projects. If you've been watching me for a while, you know I love those wood posts. I pick them up at Home Depot. They're pretty inexpensive, and I have made so many fun projects with those. So if you're into that wood look and you want to create your own wood signs, those wood posts are one of my favorite things to use. If you want to check out some more videos that I created with that, there is one here at the end screen, so you can check out that. And I use that with some solo wood flowers, which are also one of my most favorite things. So check out that video. And as always, wherever you are in your journey is a perfect place to start. And I will see you in my next video.
Evenings on the